All right, so this is going to be a deconstruction of a scenario that involves a mailing list. Now, it looks a little complex. It's a lot more modules than you guys might be used to, but just bear with me and I promise it'll make sense. Some of you might even see this and already understand what you're looking at, and some of you may recognize that we have a few brand new modules here. So, bringing back the Microsoft 365 email app, as well as the tools that I mentioned earlier in the course, and then adding in the repeater, OneDrive, and Google Sheets. So it involves quite a lot of different apps. However, I promise it will make sense all the same. So essentially, what we have here is starting with the OneDrive module. All this does is download a file. So it downloads a file that I have in my OneDrive called deals.png, and I'll show you guys what that looks like in a second. And now that will go through a filter that checks to make sure that the file exists. And the reason I have this here, it may seem arbitrary, but a lot of the time when making automations, I realized that when these downloaded files are supposed to function, they don't always function exactly the way they're supposed to. And it could be for a number of reasons, but mostly it's because it's connected to an online service that kind of hosts the file. The file is online, it's not stored locally anywhere. So if that file is moved or replaced or updated or changed, things may change with the file. And so this is basically going to check to make sure the file exists before going through the rest of the automation. Otherwise, all this may continue and the file didn't download properly, or an incorrect file may download, or the file may just not be there altogether. And again, that's not what we want. So after the filter runs through, it meets the repeater. And the way you activate the repeater is you just go to the flow control on the bottom right here, very top of actions, repeater. And clicking into it, it's extremely simple. So basically what the repeater does is it just repeats whatever modules come after it, however many times. So however many times specified. So I have it as the initial value at 1, so it'll start at 1, and it will repeat a total of 3 times, right? And you'll see why that is in a second. So after that, it'll go to the tools variable, or the tools app where it sets a variable, and I have it set for count. And right now, for the variable value, it is I plus 1. Seems simple, but the I comes from the flow control module, right? The repeater. And the plus is a specific plus that comes from the math function. If you put a normal plus, and let me demonstrate real quick. If you put a normal plus like this, it will not work and you will get an error, I promise you. So make sure that you go to the x minus 1 tab up here where it has the math functions and go down to plus. All right, if you're following along with me. So after that, it's going to go to 2 different Google Sheets modules. They're pretty similar, but the only difference is this right here cell is C for the first one, and the second one is A. Other than that, all the information you'll see is the same. And this Google Sheet, I'll pull up right here, is just a demo mailing list. It's just what a mailing list could be. If you have one, it'll likely be a lot more robust than this, with a lot more tabs, or not tabs, a lot more columns and a lot more information. But for simplicity's sake, and so as not to overcomplicate anything, I have a few sample names, right? Not real people. And I have my email address repeated a few times because, again, we don't have any real emails to send this off to. So you'll see that kind of work out in a second. I promise you it works all the same. Even if these emails are different, the emails don't have to be the same. They could be if you want to send the same email 2 times. But yeah, I just have mine for all 3 because I don't have anybody to email at the moment. And so once these are all set up, I have it so that it creates and sends an email with all the information. So what it does is it takes the OneDrive file and it makes it an attachment, and then it takes the cell from the second, or from the 2 Google Sheet modules, the first name value that we have here in the first column, the A column, and then the email address that we have in the C column. Right? So far, hopefully it makes sense. So you can see that those are being mapped accordingly. And then for the subject and body, It just features the first name twice, and the subject line is "We've got amazing new deals," and the body content is just standardized body content, right? So that's the end of the scenario. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. Make sure that it doesn't have any errors, because remember, when you hit save, it not only saves your work, but it also checks to see if all of this stuff is filled in for you. And once it's saved, I can go ahead and run it, and everything appeared green, which is good. That means the file was correctly downloaded. It went through the filter. It made it through the filter, and it went through the repeater. And then you could see here is very important. After the repeater, everything is the number 3 for the bundles on the top right for all these modules after the repeater. So all these operations ran a total of 3 times, and it doesn't go 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. It goes 1 1 1 1, then starts again from after the repeater, 2 2 2 2 3 3 3 3, and you can adjust it to, again, however many times you want, all the way up to I believe that's 10,000. So wow, that's a lot. So we can go ahead and check to make sure that the emails were sent correctly. So if I go to my inbox, because all the emails were sent to me, you can see all the emails have the correct information. And this one is like what Patrick's email would look like. So it says, "Patrick, we've got amazing new deals. Hey Patrick, just checking in to see how you're doing. We've got some amazing new offers we think you'll enjoy." And same thing for Max, same thing for Darla. And this is the deals PNG that I downloaded from my OneDrive. And so you can replace the OneDrive module with wherever you have your online storage. It could be Google Drive and anything like that. As far as local storage, it's best to just upload it to online storage, because Make is an online tool. And so if your computer is sleeping, or it's shut down, or it has to restart for whatever reason, it's always going to be better, because Make is not it works independently of your computer. And so even if your computer isn't working but your automation is on and scheduled properly, no matter what happens, the automation will go through and run through the way it's supposed to. So yeah, hopefully that kind of gives you guys a bit of an understanding of the things that I've gone over so far in the course. And if you guys enjoy, let me know.